Good evening. What if I told you that the difference between being ignored and being unforgettable comes down to one thing? Well, maybe more than one thing, but one thing that we're going to talk about today, and that is your story. If you're doing everything else that everybody else is doing, and you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, the difference between being ignored and being unforgettable comes down to the stories that you're telling. I heard somewhere a few days ago, do more good by telling better stories. And I thought to myself, that could not be said better. Because if you want to do more good, if you want to sell more, if you want to raise more money, if you're in the non-profit space, if you want to get seen, get paid, get heard online, and get remembered, it starts by telling a better story, not a louder story, not a longer one, not a more perfect one, just a better one. What makes a story a better story? There are many things that make a story a better story. Maybe we cannot go into that now, but I'll give you an opportunity at the end of this to tell you how you can join me with a community of storytellers where we can all learn to tell better stories. I wrote this down. Oh, God, I keep doing this. I wrote this down just before I came on, and I said I was going to say it. Yes, storytelling can be learned. So it's like any other skill. It can be learned. When you learn it, you practice it. When you practice it, you master it, and then after some time, you make it your own. So I can teach you storytelling. You learn from me. Once you learn it, you practice it. By the time you practice it, you master it. When you master it, it becomes your own. It no longer becomes what I taught you. It becomes your own. You bring your own to it. I've worked with change makers, creators, dreamers, and again and again, I see the same thing. Many of us, we have incredible ideas. We make real impact for the people that we serve. But then when it comes to that messaging, when it comes to telling people what we do, telling people how we can help, it now starts falling flat. And that is because if you are telling them just the facts, if you are just telling them the statistics, the data, even if you are just telling them what you've done, you know, all you're giving them is information. But when you tell stories, when you wrap up those same facts in stories, when you wrap up that same data in stories, you know, you are able to go from information to transformation, from education to, you know, what's that word now, where where the somebody's pays attention to you, somebody's heart comes closer to you. So it's a head and a heart thing. It's an art and a science, storytelling. There's structure to it, but then there's also instinct to it. You know, it's just like how somebody would say something like, I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'll know it when I see it. That's what storytelling can be like. But stories move people. If you see the people that are really prolific storytellers, as they tell stories at every juncture of what they're doing, you will see, you would tell it's an amazing difference, you know, an amazing difference. So stories Open doors. I'm going to keep this short. Stories open doors. They open hearts. I keep saying it. They open doors. They open hearts. They open wallets. You know, and you can do more good by telling a better story. This is what makes some causes go viral while others stay invisible. Sometimes it's not about the size of the or the importance of what it is that you're trying to say. It is actually the strength of the story. Because what happens with stories is that stories are memorable. You know, if you wrap something in a story, it's something that now becomes it is the thing that people remember out of all the hundreds of things that you say, especially if the story is one that you've told to not just a story of a fact of something that happened or a story of a happening, but actually a story that explains a concept or a story that goes deeper into why something is important. So that's why we need to be intentional about thinking of better ways to tell our stories and better ways to um, make our stories more memorable, make our stories more impactful. You know, for instance, if you think about if you were if you ran a charity, you know, people don't just give because they say you say something like 10 out of 20 children are not able to have a hot meal for breakfast. You know, that it would not move someone as much as the story of that one child and telling the story and helping the person listening to see and imagine and take that journey of that one child waking up, you know, leaving, going to school hungry, and then, or going to school hungry or with some stale food or whatever it is, the story, their journey, their struggles, their hopes, and all that kind of thing. And then even the stories of when that child is helped. Because stories are a way for us to connect. They turn people who are strangers into our allies because a story makes somebody become invested in what you're saying. And if you are telling the right story or if you're telling a better story, they become more committed. You know, they become invested, they become committed, they buy into, they want to see the resolution of that thing that you talked about, or they just have that interest, you know, because you have told a story that makes them know that you are relatable to them, you are their person, you know. So if you want to amplify your mission or your business, and you want to, you know, do more good or make more money, or you need to shape your narrative, not just your numbers, you know, you can you can do more good by telling better stories. The second thing that you can do is that you can sell more by telling a better story. I mean, the secret behind the brands that people love and buy from again and again is not just the product. Everybody, well, not everybody, well, most people know that. Okay, this I'm not even going to say it. I'll just say, if you were looking at the Apple phone versus the Samsung phone, and you're looking at them feature by feature, you know, the technology, not the technology, what's the word? The design, the features, the capabilities, all those kind of things, side by side. People argue that the Samsung is better. Even if we were told, when I say we, I mean we, the Apple people, even if we were told that the Samsung was 10 times better and that the camera on the Samsung phone is 20 times better than the one on the Apple phone, that is not that will not make us not buy Apple and not use the Apple phone, because we bought not just into the specifications. We buy Apple products because of the identity that we've bought into. We've bought into that identity of that, that creative identity, that independence, that thinking out of the box, and all those different things that have has been shaped by Apple as the identity of who it appeals to. So Apple don't just sell devices; they sell a story of creativity, of rebellion. You know, I mean, Nike doesn't just sell shoes. Oh, by the way, there's a book called Shoe Dog, I believe, which is the story of Nike. You need to go read that book. It's a really lovely book. I'm not saying you read it and learn how to have a shoe business, but it's actually reads like a fiction book. It's a really exciting story. So that's just by the way. So Nike doesn't just sell shoes. They sell a story of pushing limits, they sell an identity, you know, and it just so happens that, because the thing is, we as human beings, we are really very strong people, as in, or let's say our thought process, our thinking, our mentality, our mindset is plays a huge part in the choices that we make. And when you're telling a story, you're not just capturing the mind, you're capturing the heart. So once somebody is sold onto something, once somebody has let you into their hearts, that hold can it be a very strong hold in the psyche, in the mind, in the heart, whatever you want to call it, you know. And that is one way that is one of the interesting things about stories and storytelling. It makes you memorable. It breaks down the walls of it breaks down internal barriers. Leaning into a story is different from you seeing an advert in front of you. Leaning into a story and following the story, you know and people wanting to see the end of the story is better than the most impressive statistics or features or mechanics or whatever. So if you want to sell more, you need to craft a story that your customers want to step into. One great way to do this in the online space is creating a story around your launch. Um, this the Jeff Walker, the founder of Product Launch Formula, I believe, he invented this style of where you where your he invented this style of where your where the sorry, I'm so sorry. He invented the style of launching a product by this is a video series, and each of those various video series takes you like on a path, and on that path you are able to go from the first story to the second story to the third story, and those stories are crafted in a very specific ways. And one thing that's very interesting is that the better the story you tell when you are launching, the better your launch will go. Now, so um, that is the second point, and then the last point really is, you know, that stories open wallets, even when times are tough, even when somebody is even here's the thing. If somebody wants something, they will find a way to get it. They'll find a way to get it. So sometimes when we sell, we think to ourselves, I'm going to sell only to the rich people because the poor people don't have money to pay for the thing. But the thing is, it really doesn't matter who the person you're selling to is. If you tell the story that resonates with the person, they really want that thing because they can connect to that to the story of that product or that service, and it connects with their need, and it shows that the person understands their pain and everything, then it becomes a no-brainer. And that's, it now makes the person actually, um what's that word, people, they will go to any length to um buy the thing. So it's not about making somebody guilty or um, pressuring somebody. It's about connecting. And that's why I like storytelling as a way to sell, because it is not about high pressure sales tactics. It's more about connection. It's more about telling a story where the listener sees themselves in the story. It's more about serving somebody with the story or helping with the story by showing that yes, I can help. I understand where you're coming from, and I know how to take you to where you want to go. So um, that really is it, about storytelling, and why we need to learn how to tell a better story. We tell better stories by making our stories more relatable. We tell better stories by making our stories um, more gets more attention. We tell stories by helping to better stories by using the right story to frame the thing that we want to talk about. So and we tell stories to invite people into our world. So this summer, I'm opening up the doors to storytelling, like a summer school, like a 6 to 8 week program. So it's a space for storytellers and change makers. So basically, these are people. If you are somebody that you have a podcast, or you have a YouTube channel, or you're an influencer, or you just want to be seen and heard and paid online, and you want to get into the practice of being very intentional about the stories that you tell on your platforms, use it to connect with your platforms, then we're going to have our 21 stories um, summer school. We did it a couple of years ago, but we're doing it again this time. So in that one, you're going to choose your platform, choose your project, and you're going to tell your stories over that. And it starts sometime in June. More details will be coming soon. But if you are interested, the best way you can find out about it is to sign up at emailwriterslab.com. That is emailwriterslab.com. We have an email storytelling toolkit there, which has 7 pieces in the toolkit. But you can, once you are signed up on that mailing list, you will be the first to know about the more details about the storytelling summer school, or the summer school for storytelling. I don't have a name for it yet. A summer school is for a summer school. It is for storytellers and change makers, and it's more a community of creatives where we come together, learn from each other, spur each other on, keep ourselves accountable, and have some fun, by showing up, with some guidance, some prompts, and some feedback as well. So if you want to master the art of telling stories that get you seen, heard, paid, remembered, then this is the place for you. You learn how to use storytelling to open doors, open hearts, and yes, open wallets. So join the waiting list. Well, join the mailing list by signing up at emailwriterslab.com, and let us have some fun together this summer. More details to come soon. I will see you next Wednesday, same time. Actually, no, not the same time, but it will definitely be Wednesday. My kids, when I say my kids, they're not really kids any longer, but the children are on half term, so the house has changed. So I would normally want to go during the go live in the middle of the day while they're in school, but now I have to hide away in the evening and make sure that everybody is out of the room so that I can go live and talk to you. So it's been nice talking to you. I will see you next week, Wednesday by 1 p.m., 1 or 2 p.m. around that time. But you will see the announcement come up a few hours before I go live. So thank you very much and have a wonderful evening. Bye.